Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, John Jordan. So in this video, I'm having a look at Blur, which is the new marketplace for NFTs that has just launched. It's been in development for a while. It's got a lot of buy-in from the big NFT whales, or at least some of them, who are all over Twitter at the moment. It's got buy-in, I think, from a lot of the big NFT collections, at least certainly Digidai, Gaku, has been sort of involved with it, and a lot of the users there have been on the beta. So obviously there's a lot going on with NFT marketplaces at the moment. There's this whole thing with creator royalties and marketplaces now. Some of them, like Magic Eden, sort of basically saying they're not going to support them. It's up to the users to decide if they want to pay full royalties or 50% royalties or whatever. So there's a whole bunch of sort of interesting stuff, disruption in the market anyway. And obviously NFT sales are down, whatever they are down compared to where they were this time last year. So there's a whole bunch of sort of pressure in the market, tension, and I guess it's interesting, the NFT market, because these things aren't mass market. Certainly at the moment, there's a lot of sort of, I guess, competition to get the really big traders in. So what we call crypto whales or NFT whales. So this is and that's clearly where Blur as a sort of marketplace sort of comes from. So it's really, you can see it doesn't look necessarily very nice. Some people like it, but it looks quite austere. And the reason for that is obviously it's it's looking to apply to a certain type of person. So, but in general, how it works, not that I've sort of really used it yet, is sort of broadly similar. So we can see here, this is just the collection. So we're looking at sort of different collections of things that we expect to see: Bored Apes, Digidai, Gaku, Mutant Apes, Clonex, a whole bunch of other ones. These new ones, I don't know what Doodle NFT is actually, but there we go. We can just see the usual sort of things we'd expect to see: floor price, price change over 1 day, price change over 7 days. Not quite sure what that one is. 1 day volume, a 15-minute volume. So what's the volume of trading over the last 15 minutes? Volume of trading over the last day, 7 days. How many owners are there? How many total NFTs are there? So obviously we can sort of mess around with some of these things, and we can see what are the most expensive collections based on their floor price. I'm not sure how many collections they are supporting. It's certainly not everything, but anyway, we can see what's been. It doesn't do that. It's always annoying when things don't do that. Anyway, so we can't look at those. Can we look at the volume? Yeah. So we can look at what is the most trading happening on. So we look at Bored Ape is the highest, and Azuki has been the price has been going up. We can see 10% over the last day. Other deeds, I mean, these are sort of the sort of typical ones we'd expect to see up there. Apart from some of these other ones, I don't really know. So anyway, we can sort of get the rough sort of thing. I mean, owners is always interesting. So how many owners are there? And obviously we can click in, click into Bored Apes, and we can see here. So this is sort of the trading bit. So we can see here, it looks like these are marked as suspicious on OpenSea. So Blur is interesting in the sense that it's you can trade on it. It has its own. You can list on there, but it also acts as an interface. So you can also trade and list stuff on OpenSea and X2, Y2, and LooksRare. So it's running on Ethereum. So it basically you could argue it's sort of best of both worlds, that it has its own sort of marketplace where it's expecting to have all these sort of whales trading, but equally you sort of get the reach of what's going on OpenSea. So we can see probably not going to want to buy these ones if they've been marked as suspicious for some reason. But we can see here. This one is on the X2, Y2 exchange. This one's been listed on Blur, so we can get some idea of the floor. We can see it's giving us the floor on the trait. So we can look at the trait of this Bored Ape. So the eyes closed trait, that's currently valued at 74, and that's the lowest one. And this is being listed at 76. So I guess. Yeah, you can see where the data goes on that. I don't know necessarily people trade off those things so much. I guess you can see if there was a marked sort of discount between the rarity of something and the price. Normally there isn't. So we can see here the last sale that's sort of useful to see. Obviously, that depends when the thing was last traded and what the ETH price was. We can see the top bid. So yeah, so this person could sell this right now for 71.5. Owner, we can see how many they hold of these. It looks so. This person seems to have. Yes, it's the same account. Got 60. So we can see all that sort of stuff, and then we have this sort of idea of floor depth. So this is showing across the entire collection. This is how the price changes. So how many are there? It's going to show this. How many are there? So there's 6 at 75, probably 74. So you can just see how the price changes. So there's a whole bunch of analytics on there. The analytics actually is probably not that sort of great. Or there is always. I won't go into any more. There is a whole bunch of. There are other marketplaces. Actually, OpenSea's just brought in a whole bunch of analytics stuff, and there are obviously sort of other first party data sites that go into a lot more detail on this. So it's always a question about how much data you want to put into this sort of marketplace sort of thing, and sort of how much it gets how it gets too confusing. The more data you'll have, I guess over time more of this sort of stuff will be in there. So what else have we got? So I guess the other interesting thing that we're seeing a lot at the moment is this airdrop. There is actually this thing here, so you can have there's this sort of sweep thing here, so you could, if you wanted to sweep up the bottom, so you can see here what it's done now. So I mean, clearly not going to do this because it cost me a ton of money. But basically, if I wanted to buy 6, the 6 cheapest Bored Apes, I've just put that in there, and then I can sort of go here and hit this if I wanted to buy them. So lots of other aggregators sort of have this sort of sweep the floor kind of functionality. It's obviously very much a meme. I just swept the floor. So you can just do that, and obviously you're just doing one transaction rather than doing 6 multiple transactions. Again, that's pretty standard as a thing now. So I think sort of with Blur, I don't think it's necessarily. I mean, maybe behind the scenes it is, but it seems like from an overview, it's not doing anything particularly new that we haven't seen before. But with all these sort of marketplaces, it's more do with sort of positioning and who it's actually looking to get in as traders. The other sort of key thing when something launches, as we always sort of see, is they can use incentives around their own token. So Blur doesn't have a token at the moment. It looks like it will have one next year. And obviously we've seen with stuff like, I guess most famously, Looks Rare had these sort of tokens, and you had this sort of wash trading stuff going on here. Blur sort of has a bit of that. So if we go to airdrops, so at the moment, lots of people are using it and collecting their wallets because if you've been trading over the last 6 months, it looks at how much trading you've done over the last 6 months, and it gives you some of these what we call care packages. You can see here if you tweet out, you also get a free care package. So if I just unlocked one of these, I've just got one uncommon. I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to get anything. It's a random sort of drop. Basically, it looks at your trading history, and depending on how much you've spent, you get some of these care drops. I've not obviously spent very much. So, but anyway, I've got these. These are not NFTs. I can't trade them. I have to wait for them to be unlocked when the sort of token stuff goes live. So this is obviously like an incentive to get people into the to use it. And actually, in fact, to use this, you have to sort of go to the claim page, and then you also have to list something. So you also have to list an NFT for sale. So sort of encouraging people to be using the platform. And there'll be another airdrop later on in 2022, and that will be rewarding people who have started trading on the platform. So maybe things to sort of check out depending on how much trading you're doing. And what have we got there? Uncommon. So there we go. So I've got there isn't for this airdrop there isn't a common box. So I think maybe for the second airdrop there will be common boxes. But I've got 5 common boxes, no rare, no legendaries. Obviously, some people on Twitter are rocking in with 500 boxes because they're just mad NFT traders. So I'm not that. So it says in January you can open your care packages across the airdrops to get Blur, which is the token. Learn more about the next drop. So we can go and have a look at this. So. We can see here that a whole bunch of stuff. So they're saying, this is going to be much faster, 10 times faster than Gem, and they raised $14 million from a whole bunch of people, including sort of Paradigm and a whole bunch of these big NFT holders. No market 0% fees, so they're not charging anything at the moment, at least. And they are honouring royalties via airdrops. So basically, it looks like royalties not enforceable on chain, but we have an incentive structure. So this is sort of way some marketplaces are thinking about it. You can't enforce it, but you can incentivize people to pay royalties to the creators, and they're doing that with this sort of system. I won't go into all the details, but that's sort of interesting. We'll see. There'll be governance when the Blur token goes live. Blur's marketplace fees are turned off until this sort of governance thing goes live, and then we have this sort of airdrop thing that is going on. They're calling it a care package drop. So we'll see. If you have Blur points from our waitlist, or put it in private bend, a separate airdrop for you. Okay. So there we go. A whole bunch of stuff there. And I think it's interesting. I think it just goes sort of. I mean, say they've been building. They have this famous thing they've been building for 276 days, sort of thing. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. But it's definitely a sort of a shake up. And it wasn't that long ago where sort of there was OpenSea, and that was still has the majority of volume. And then sort of Magic Eden came along, and I guess then it was OpenSea and Magic Eden, and then these other sort of more complicated sort of AMM style exchanges like pseudo-swap code. So there's all this stuff going on all the time, because everyone's always sort of after the sort of how can we sort of, well, in this case, they're not collecting trading fees anymore. Trading fees are gone, and that sort of race to the bottom has sort of happened, and things being commoditized quite quickly. But interestingly, with blockchain, there's always other ways to monetize, and particularly if you sort of have created a token that actually has value, and you can drive value into that in different ways. People are sometimes obviously prepared to pay fees in some ways if they sort of get the money back in other ways. So I guess that's the interesting thing for Blur. As I say, I don't think Blur is necessarily a mass market sort of product at the moment, but I don't think that's necessarily what it's trying to do. So we'll sort of see how that sort of stuff plays out. Anyway, thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to the channel, and see you again soon.